unless it negotiates its way in, as Croatia has just done, upsets this. Hence, hypothetically, Scotland votes for independence next year. The referendum will be, I think it's in September of next year, so in about a year's time. This then creates very difficult problems for the European Union. Does Scotland have to renegotiate? Does it stay in? Etc., etc. The most recent statement by Commissioner Joaquin Almunia is that it's the larger part of the state which stays in and the smaller part has to negotiate its way in. I'm not sure that Almunia's view is the only one, but I have tried this with some of my British colleagues. If Scotland decides to become independent, the United Kingdom, which negotiated entry in the early 1970s, 1973, will cease to exist. I think the international lawyers will then have to work out what actually is happening. It may actually be that Scotland will have to, if it wants to be independent, it not also have to renegotiate. And I think that sets precedent if, for example, Catalonia or Flanders or any other part of the European state wants to. If you look at the history of new state formation in Europe, it seems to me there are various forms. There are totally trouble-free secessions. I'm thinking here of the straightforward separation of Sweden and Norway in 1906. If I'm wrong, historians can correct me. 1905, I bid 1905 from over there. 1905 it is. Thank you. The separation of the Czech Republic and Slovakia, I think fairly straightforward. And indeed, I would go so far as to say that relations between Czechs and Slovaks have never been as good as they are now, as a direct consequence of the separation. While the two were in the same state, there was constant friction. This is an interesting lesson. I would say that the secession of the Baltic states from the Soviet Union is a very, very positive move. They wanted out, they got out, their relations with Russia, not brilliant, but then really I suppose one would see it as a decolonization. And that is yet another rather complex problem. There are complex state relations, which can sometimes become violent. The Yugoslav case is the one which I think we all look at. I did follow Yugoslavia when I was an academic back in the 80s and 90s very closely, and I was one of the very few people who say by the late 1980s that this country is close to disintegration. It was a message that nobody would want it to hear. I can still remember having these arguments back in London after the Foreign Office. And here I think again it's the inherent conservatism of the state order which blocks people from seeing a changing reality. The commitment on the part of very few, but the great majority of Yugoslavia to maintaining it as a single state was going down, not by the day, certainly not by the day, certainly by the month. Decolonization, of course, has happened in Europe. I think in Malta it was very successful. The sense I have is that the Maltese don't have a strong sense of resentment towards the British overlords. Ireland and Cyprus are sort of more contestable cases. Algeria was extremely painful for France, Tunisia less so. These are the cases I can think of. If you want to think of the end of Austria-Hungary as a case of decolonization, it's an argument I've certainly opened. Clearly, the coming into being, the restitution of Poland is also a case of decolonization. Poland was part of three empires, the Russian, the German, and the Austro-Hungarian. Interestingly, you can still tell this was Austrian, this was German, this was Russian. And I think most Poles are aware of this. I certainly have heard Poles from the former Austrian party. Really, I mean, we have a much more sophisticated political culture than most people from the Russian part. It's interesting how long-term legacies live on. A couple more points, and then I'll bring my remarks to a close. What I want to suggest here is that geography can play a role in that if a state secedes, various forms of interdependence long-term personal ties, shared history, do tend to mean that secession is less significant than people interfere. If you think about, again, the former parts of Yugoslavia, they all claim that they speak separate languages now, but when they're amongst themselves, they say, oh, we speak our language, naš jezik. In other words, they recognize a certain sense of shared history, shared past, even shared culture. The language, by the way, is pretty similar. It's a bit like American English and British English. We mostly understand each other. Sometimes we misunderstand each other. Did you know, by the way, talking of cultural diversity, that there are British films which are shown in the United States with subtitles? We simply can't understand some of the British accents. I have some difficulty with some of the accents spoken in the Deep South. I can remember being in southern Louisiana, not having any idea of what people were talking about. It's not a story. So really, my final thought here is that the political lesson, I think there is a political lesson to be drawn from what I've been arguing, is that if the question of secession arises, and it isn't frivolous, then the centre should move fast and offer the option to the minority, whatever the option happens to be. The earlier it happens, the less likely that secession will actually happen. At that point, it's possible to negotiate before there is polarization. So I'm not a pessimist on this. I actually don't think that secessions are going to happen in Europe. But if they do, let's not get too upset about it, because I think